$3, motherfucker. Motherfuckers.
Yo, what up? What up? So I was supposed to have did this video yesterday, man, and shit went all kind of sideways on me. Oh man, so much going on. Then by the time I laid my head down, it was like about 6 or 6:30. I was out because I had to be at work early. So, but yo, I'm gonna hit y'all up. So, all right, man, let's go ahead on, man. Let's break this down. Let's talk. I ain't gonna be on here long, cause I got other stuff I got to do, so I ain't gonna be on here too long. So first off, let's start off. So I know a lot of Bears fans was mad and angry and upset about them losing. The reality was, they made a nice little comeback, and they wound up going in overtime. The Chargers was like three and out, and then it was the Bears' turn. Bears marching down the field, and just as everybody in Chicago thought this was it. They was gonna win, go to the NFC Championship game. Boom, Caleb Williams threw an interception. Now here's the thing: a lot of people wanted to shit on Caleb Williams, right? The reality is Caleb Williams should not be at fault. Caleb Williams should not be at fault for that interception. Now, here's why I'm gonna say that, right? Because a lot of y'all, oh no, bro, did you see the play? He clearly threw football. There was nobody there. I'm gonna break down something to y'all. If you guys go back and watch the play, and I forget the guy he was throwing to, I forget the name, but the guy he was throwing the ball to didn't finish the route. If you look, Caleb thinking he's gonna keep running. Well, he never kept running. And by him not keep on running, what wound up happening was the defender who was covering who was covering the shadow out of bounds lane sees the ball, comes up and picks it off. But if the receiver keeps running the route, boom, it's right there. Now, the thing about it is this, and trust me, I'm not somebody that has rocked with Caleb Williams. Like I said, I was always on him about the pink fingernail polish and wearing the damn dress and all that old crazy shit, right? But the reality is, in this situation, you can't blame him for that interception because the receiver kept running that route, that ball would have been right there waiting on him in his hand. The fact that he didn't keep running the route, because understand, the quarterback only knows the plays that they practice, right? So if you run that route, he's like, hey, this is the route. They're going to put the ball at the end of the route or somewhere within the route where you can catch it. Now, if you decide to make an adjustment to stop, okay, the quarterback don't know that. He's throwing the ball based off the call we made, based on the route you're supposed to freaking run. So when he didn't finish the route, there was the interception. There was the interception right there because this guy did not finish the freaking route. So anybody out there blaming, because there's a lot you can blame Caleb Williams for. I have no problem with that. But that interception in overtime, you cannot blame Caleb Williams for that because this dude did not finish the damn route. He didn't. He stopped, eased up, froze, got bumped off, whatever the case was. But if you look, Caleb Williams is thinking this dude is going to keep going. Well, he stopped the damn route. And he probably stopped the route when the ball was thrown. So, yeah, for me, like I say, I'm nobody that likes Caleb Williams. Okay, I'm not like he still got more to prove to me. Let me say this: he played better this year than last year because he had more stability around him. But at the end of the day, you can't blame him for that interception. And you can't blame it. If you telling me you truly and really know football, then you can't blame him for that interception. That interception was not his fault. The receiver didn't run the route, and by not running the route, that's what happened, right? All right, man, next up. So I hear a lot of people talking about Joseph Allen, which we're going to have a talk about him because out of 5 turnovers, he contributed to 4, right? But I still don't think what I saw from Joe Allen was anywhere near what C.J. Stroud gave me. What C.J. Stroud gave me was freaking atrocious. He had 4 interceptions in the first half, and then just didn't even show up in the second half. C.J. Stroud was terrible. Joseph Allen was terrible too because again, I don't know what he was thinking when he was getting tackled throwing the ball back. Like what was he thinking? Like there were some turnovers out there. I'm like, what are you doing? And you can't say it's because Patrick Mahomes was in his way. You know, Jalen Hurt was in his way. Lamar Jackson was in his way. Nah, nah. This is where Joseph Allen should have stepped up. Like remember Jalen Hurt when they won the Super Bowl, everybody was on them to, hey man, y'all got to step up this year. Y'all got to step up this year, and he did. Jalen Hurt did. Jalen Hurt stepped it up. I'm waiting on Lamar Jackson. He got to step it up. But Jalen Hurt did step it up, and they won the Super Bowl. Well, this is where same thing with Josh Allen. He was supposed to have stepped it up this year. He was supposed to have stepped it up. This is supposed to have been the best team that the Bills had assembled in a very long time. Okay? He was supposed to step it up this year. And don't give me that C.J. Stroud was missing his top wide receiver and all of that. You are the quarterback. You have to make things happen. You can't, like, him not having his top receivers out there has nothing to do with them damn interceptions I saw. You make that perfectly clear. Right? That had nothing to do with those interceptions that he threw. Him not having his top guy out there, that has nothing to do with how he was overthrown. Like one interception was crazy because it wasn't his fault, but it kind of was his fault. So the receiver, the ball went through the receiver's hand. But my thing was, there was nobody around this dude. He was by himself. Why you throw the ball up high like that? Put it in his chest. Who's there? Nobody was there. So put it right in his chest. Make it a lot easier for him to catch the ball. He made it a lot more difficult for his player to catch the ball. And like I said, man, listen, Josh Allen, the one thing I can say about Josh Allen, people might disagree with me, was at least I can say, okay, even with his turnovers, you know what? He put his team in a position to win. People, C.J. Stroud, no. The defense put them in the position to win the game. C.J. Stroud did nothing to put them in the position to win the game. He did nothing. Absolutely nothing to put them in a position to win the game. So, yeah, man, I'm not. Yeah. I'm not happy for what I saw from either one. There's no way C.J. Stroud get the max contract after this. You can't justify giving C.J. Stroud a max contract. And me and my brother was talking about this. My brother's adamant that Stroud not the answer. You can't give him a max contract. Right? My brother's adamant. Now I got to agree with my brother. C.J. Stroud should get a 1-year contract with the option to pick you up next year. Because if you play like this, brother, you out. You out. We can't have, no, you out. You got to go. We can't have this out. We can't have this. You got to go. This is crazy. This is crazy. You cannot justify giving C.J. Stroud a max contract after how he just played. You can't justify it. Right? And there's something mentally, like, I think they need to sit that way. There's something mentally, there's something wrong with him. The way he looked out there mentally, like, dude, so, yeah. So, Joseph Allen and C.J. Stroud, them boys got to do better. Like I said, there's no way I can justify giving Stroud a max contract. There's just no way. No way you can justify giving him a max contract, man. And I ain't got no sympathy. Like, people have sympathy for Josh Allen. I have no sympathy for Josh Allen. He's a professional athlete. You go out there and you play terrible, then you're going to get what you're going to get. You're a professional freaking athlete. You go out there and you play terrible, hey, man, guess what? You're going to get what you're going to get. All that crying and me feeling better. No. You're a professional freaking athlete. Make millions of freaking dollars. You got one job. Throw that football. You got one job. So, man, enough of that. So let's get on to the main topic. So Alicia Baumgardner. So Kellen Dubois basically is, looking to fight Alicia Baumgardner. Kellen Dubois is the WBC 135-pound champion. Okay. Alicia Baumgardner is the unified. She's no longer undisputed. I think she dropped the WBC belt. And I'm gonna get into, I think, another reason why she's saying what she's saying. I'm gonna get into that because it's surrounding the WBC, but she did drop the WBC belt, so she's just the unified champion at 130 pounds. So Karen DeBose was like, hey, pretty much saying, hey, the only reason why Baumgardner is calling out Clarissa to fight Clarissa is because of the fact that if she loses to Clarissa, there's no real loss for her because everybody's gonna say, well, she was supposed to lose. She dared to be great by going up to fight a much bigger person, right? But if she was to lose to Kelly and DeBose, there'd be no excuses. Well, that's actually kind of true. There's some truth to that. A real talk, there's truth to that. If she went up to 147 or hell even tried to meet Clarissa at 154 and she loses, there's nobody that's gonna really take that loss like a hard loss for her because hey, look how far up in weight you went to make that fight. So there's no real hard loss for her. It's just a loss on her record, but in the eyes of the fan, hey, you went up in weight to face the big bad bully in Clarissa Shields, right? But if she fought Carolyn DeBose and loses to her, that's a different story. You really can't claim no loss like that. You really like you'd have to take that loss and it would be a hard loss. And she's telling the truth on that. Like she's telling there's a lot of truth to what she said. Now of course Baumgardner clapped back. She goes, she ain't on my level. She's a puppy. Right? And then she talked about plus, she goes, and plus I'm at 130. You're at 135. You have work to do at 135. You got other champions you need to be looking to fight at 135, like how she did at 130 when she fought Terry Harper. Then she went on and she fought Michaela Mayer. Then she went on to become undisputed. Right? Then she says, she needs me. They need me. The bum, Alicia. I don't need her. Bullshit. Alicia Baumgardner is ducking smoke. Bullshit. I'm calling BS on that. Baumgardner is ducking smoke. And here's where she's ducking smoke. First off, she says she's at 130 and that the boss is at 135. She didn't feel that way when it came to her looking to fight the winner of Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. And that's twice. The three times they fought, I think twice was at 135. One, I believe, was at 140. And if I'm not mistaken, yes, I think one of them is at 140, right? Because that's actually how Kelly DeBose became a champion, is because after she beat Chantel Cameron for undisputed at 140, she gave up her belt at 135. Which, by the way, Katie Taylor never decided to rematch Chantel Cameron, but that's another story for another day. Like, yeah, that's another story for another day. She kind of, once she got her win, she like, I win, and she ran off. I win, and she ran off, right? And she did. She's like, I win, and she kind of ran off. Okay, but in any event, so she wanted to fight with the winner of Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor when they fought at 140. So you can't say I'm at 130, you at 135. No, you wanted to smoke with Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor when at 135, and you wanted to smoke of that same one at 140. On top of the fact, I remember, matter of fact, if I'm correct, I remember she even was talking about she wanted to win there with Katie Taylor and Chantel Cameron. Right? She wanted that winner. Okay? I'm not going to even throw in the fact that you were willing to fight Clarissa Shields at 147. You want Clarissa to come 147. I'm not even throwing the fact that you're talking about fighting Clarissa Shields, which that goes to it too. But now all of a sudden you're at 130. I'm at 130. Well, you had no problem when there was these people to come out of that fucking 130 to fight them. You had no problem with that. Now you can make the case it was a big money fight because she said, "Oh, she needs me. I don't need her." This is again BS. Here's why that's BS. Kelly DeBose fights in the UK. The one thing the UK do is they support their freaking fighters. That's the reason why Terry Harper was so fucking popular. That's the reason why Savannah Marshall was so popular. Savannah Marshall was popular and she wasn't even a champion yet. And Savannah Marshall was popular. I'm just speaking on the women's side. I'm not talking about the men. I'm talking about from the women's side of boxing. Okay? That's the reason why, Savannah Marshall was so popular. Natasha Jonas was popular. They, in the UK, they support those fighters, whether they male or female. They will sell out. They will come out. They will pay to watch their fighters, male or female. So you can't say that she needs you and you don't need her. Because in boxing, the most money any fighter makes is when they fight another top fighter. So you can't say that. Kevin DeBose is a top fighter with the fan base, with the name. Who are you going to fight from a financial standpoint that's going to bring you the type of money fighting Carolyn DeBose, especially if y'all fight in the UK? Who are you going to fight? Let's keep it real. Who are you going to fight at 130 that's not going to bring you the kind of money that you want at 130? Who are you going to fight? Because if you fight Carolyn DeBose, especially if you fight her in the UK, you're going to win some bread. You're going to make more money fighting anybody. So you can't necessarily say that. But dogs need dogs. Like, fighters get this mixed up. And this is what I hate about fighters. They get this mixed up of, I don't need them. They mean me. No. The most money you make is when you fight that other dog. Floyd Mayweather made $300 million. When he fought who? Manny Pacquiao. He don't fight Manny Pacquiao. He don't make no $300 million. That's not how you make no $300 million. He made it fight who? Pacquiao. Same thing with Earl Smith and Terence Crawford. The most money y'all made was fighting who? Fighting each other. So even Canelo Alvarez, you got to fight another dog. You got to fight another dog. At the very least, you got to fight a credible champion that we look at as being a difficult dude to beat. So you got to do that. You got to fight another dog. You got to fight somebody else out there that's going to be difficult, that people going to look at and say, hey, man, that's a good fight, because we don't know. It's not guaranteed he'll win. The most money even Tank made was when he fought Ryan Garcia. And I think the only other pay-per-view Ryan Garcia did after Tank was Devin Haney. So people talking about something, well, Ryan told the fight. No, not necessarily, because if you telling me Ryan was the, you know what I'm saying, Ryan was the A-side, or Ryan was the draw, then how come he didn't do a pay-per-view since Tank, except with the fact of him fighting who? Another dog in Devin Haney. And those pay-per-view numbers sank simply because of Ryan's behavior. Nobody thought the fight with Ryan was really going to fight. But for her to sit there and say that, no, that's not true. But again, you're the unified champ. Like, you've already been in undisputed. You're the unified champion. What more is there for you to do? You dropped the WBC belt because you claimed they didn't want to do 3-minute rounds anymore. They only wanted to stick with 2 10-minute rounds. I mean, they want to stick with 2 minute. They want to stick with 2 minute 10 rounds, right? 10 rounds, 2 minutes. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. 10 rounds, 2 minutes instead of 12 rounds, 3 minutes. They want to stick with 10 rounds, 2 minutes. So that's why you dropped that belt. It's the same crap Amanda Serrano did when she didn't want to fight Sky Nicholson. Say, hey, the WBC don't want to honor 12 3-minute rounds. So I'm dropping the belt. But that was really the mask of fact you didn't want to fight Sky Nicholson. We understand that. And I don't think because you were scared of him, but because you had a bigger money fight down the line against Katie Taylor. So you wanted to protect that. But I'm trying to figure out who is Baumgardner protecting here. Who are you protecting? Because I looked at all the ranking systems, the same people. Delphine Persoon, number 1. Well, Delphine Persoon is not the same Delphine Persoon no more. Like, give me a name that you think you can fight. And if you're not going to fight for the WBC belt again to become undisputed a second time, because you already said they don't want to honor 12 round 3-minute rounds, 12 3-minute rounds, then you're not going to fight whoever wins the WBC belt. You're not going to fight them. So why are you still talking about something hanging? You're at 130. Why not look to go to 135 and dominate and become undisputed? So everything she said contradicts everything she's always talked that she was about. Because again, when it came to Clarissa Shields, she was about that smoke. She was all about that smoke. She was all about going up in weight. When she was talking about the win of Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor, or Katie Taylor, Chantel Cameron, she had no problem with that. None at all. Now you got someone calling you out that appears to be another dog. Now all of a sudden, oh no, I'm at 130. Well, hell, you was at 130 when you was doing all that talking. And mind you, and understand, she only started talking about Clarissa Shields, fighting Clarissa Shields when she popped hot. When she popped hot, that's when she started talking about fighting Clarissa Shields. She was never talking about fighting Clarissa Shields until she popped hot. It was always Serrano, Taylor, and I think like I said, she mentioned Cameron. But you're not going to get a Katie Taylor fight. Katie Taylor's about to walk out. Katie Taylor right now Katie Taylor right now wouldn't fight you. That's too difficult of a fight at this stage of her career, and she made enough money she gonna get out. I highly doubt you go to 126 or Amanda Carano or Amanda. Like Amanda would make you come to 126. Amanda ain't gonna go to 130, but I highly doubt they make that fight because that's Jake Paul meal ticket. So he ain't gonna put you in the ring with her, even though both of y'all are with the same promotional company. He not gonna, you know what I'm saying? He's not gonna make that move. So what are you really doing here? Now, one reason, like, she would have been better off saying, and this is where my man Prodigy 2K always say, these motherfucking need PR people. She was better off saying, listen, that girl's a WBC champion. I'm not going to fight her because I just dropped the WBC belt because they don't believe in 12 3-minute rounds. Boom, boom, boom. She could have said that. Boom. She'd have been clean. She'd have been cleaning in the clear. If she'd have said the reason why I don't want to fight is because it would be for that WBC belt, and they don't believe in 12 3-minute rounds. That's the reason why I dropped this belt at 130. Bam! Checkmate. Check freaking mate. She'd have had it. She'd have had it. Checkmate. And everybody would have been like, hey, you know what? She's right. That makes sense because that's the reason why she did drop that belt at 130. But she was so in her feelings and upset about being called out by Dubois, who happens to be a good friend of Shields. Also, by the way, she gonna call her a puppy and say, "Bitch ain't on my level." And her reason for saying she wasn't on her level is because she's saying she's not on my level as far as I fought Terry Harper, then I fought a unification with Michaela Mayer, then I fought to become undisputed. But understand, Dubois had to wait for Katie Taylor to drop the belts and leave the division because she wanted Taylor too, but Taylor dropped the belts and went, held on to the undisputed belt at 140. So once the belt came open, she fought for the belt. So what you're basically saying is now she has to wait, collect the other belts, become undisputed before she gets a chance to fight you. Why? Why? So what? You don't want to be a 2-division champion? That's why you should see. Her reasoning makes no sense, and that's why she should have just said, "Look, I got no problem with fighting that girl, but the problem is I can't fight her because she holds the belt that I dropped simply because they don't believe in 12 3-minute rounds. Everybody, all the other organizations is cool with doing 12 3-minute rounds except them. So that's why that's a fight that may not happen. Boom. But for you to come up to my she ain't on your level and she got to collect belts at 135, she got business taking at 135. But what business you got at 130? What business do you have at, like, real talk? What business do you have at 130 pounds? Like, let's keep it real here. What business do you have at 135? At 130, you have no business left at 130. You was already undisputed. You're not gonna refight for the WBC belt you dropped. So what business do you really have at 130? Now understand something. If she goes to 135, she go. That's when she gonna pull out that. Well, she has the WBC belt and they don't believe in 10, 12 3-minute rounds. That's when she gonna pull that card and make it look like, oh, I'm not scared of her. I'm not scared of her because, it's not my fault she holds this belt that I dropped where they don't allow you to fight for, 12 round 3-minute round. It's not my fault. That's what she gonna use. If she go to 135, she gonna use that as a reason not to fight her. Like she gonna try to act like she didn't say this whole she ain't on my level crap. She gonna act like that never happened. Okay. So man, look, at the end of the day, you need to see that girl. You need to see Dubois. You need to see her. You need to see her. You definitely need to see her. And if you don't see her while both of y'all are around in y'all career, that's a problem. That's the problem that's going to be around your neck. That is a problem that's going to constantly hang around your neck. He was somebody out here who was a worthy qualified opponent, undefeated in your era, that was within range of you fighting as far as weight class, and you didn't fight. That's going to be around you. Like I said, I've always said she should have rematched Michaela Mayer, but she didn't want to rematch Michaela Mayer. She didn't. She didn't want to rematch Michaela Mayer. Now, there was some bad blood there between the two of them, but I don't understand why you didn't want to fight Michaela. You should have rematched Michaela. Y'all, you know how much money? Like the fact that y'all had that feud that y'all had made people interested in watching you two fight. And it was such a close freaking fight. Yeah, I think she won by split decision. It was such a close freaking fight. But on top of that, like a lot of times these people let they feelings get in the way of money. You would have rematched her, it would have been bigger and more money, worth more money, because people would have been like, they remember how the first fight was. Y'all both would have been excellent because you would have been like, yo, I beat you. And she'd have been like, you barely beat me. It was by split decision. Ain't like you don't act like you dominated. Like I'm just saying, like it would have been more venom there. But she blew the bag. She didn't want to rematch it. She could have went on and won undisputed dairy, and Michaela Mann was all for it. Michaela Mann was doing all kind of crap to get the rematch. She was all for it. So she messed herself up by not fighting, and Michaela Mann is going on to do bigger and better things. I think Michaela Mann is a unified champion. Not unified champion. I'm sorry. She's the Michaela Mann is she's the champion at 154, and she's looking to fight for undisputed. So she's fighting Sandy Ryan. That's a tough fight. Sandy Ryan, that girl's good. She's fighting a tough fight in Sandy Ryan, man. Sandy Ryan, that girl, man. Sandy Ryan ain't no slouch. Let me just say, Sandy Ryan ain't no slouch. But I give Michaela Mann a props because Michaela Mann is really out here getting that smoke. Like she beat, not Sandy Ryan. No, I'm sorry, I said Sandy Ryan. Man, not Sandy Ryan. She beat Sandy Ryan. She beat her twice. What is that girl's name? Is it Lauren? It's something Lauren. I want to say, is it Lauren Clark? I can't remember the girl, but I know it's something Lauren. Right? She's looking to fight that chick that Natasha Jonas fought, lost her belts to. She's looking to fight that chick named Lauren for undisputed because she owes the WL belt. But she fought Sandy Ryan twice. Right? She fought Sandy Ryan, barely beat her. People wanted to see a rematch, so she rematched her. And she put a statement on. She stamped it with that rematch. She stamped it with that rematch. And I got to give it to her. She didn't have to do that, but she did. And she's out here fighting these girls. So, like I said, man, at the end of the day, Alicia just, Baumgardner, that's disappointing for her to be like that. That's disappointing for that to happen because if she'd have had people she could fight at 130, I get it. If she never talked about leaving her division to fight other fighters, I get it. I get it. But you're on record looking to leave your division to fight other fighters. You're on record looking to do that. Okay? You're on record calling for smoke with other fighters. And on top of that, what business do you have left to do at 130, especially if we know you're not going to fight for the belt you try, which is the WBC? So what business you got at 130? Why not go to 135 and try to conquer another division? Anyway, man, that's it, man. I'm going to get out of here, man. I'll jump off, man. I'll let y'all. Peace out.